right, good evening, and welcome to another installment of Star Wars Out in the Dark. I am your storyteller. My name is Will, and to pick up where we last left off, the crew of the Neverwhere had arrived at Bespin. We were missing our dear friend Ike, so we had that Flid Grilled had holed himself up in the last place that he should be, which is the turret, and just kind of reminisced over pictures of his family and what they meant to him. Ep.5 and Dr. Silas Shakti shared a moment of confidence where Ed revealed itself to the doctor for what it is and made a startling kind of hard and fast friend there. In their conversation, it ended up being that the shardling that had sprouted from Edie had taken control of the ship's original C-3PO protocol droid, P-3V1, who they called Pete, and made its way over to a life raft and ejected itself from the hyperspace lane. The crew otherwise arrived at Bespin, where they were accosted by a Sergeant Gillick Brind after not believing that a droid could be a Jedi. And the group was saved by the arrival of an Aether Sprite starfighter that had Hurus Jaft, a Mon Cal Jedi, piloting, and who also took the crew under his wing as part of his delegation here on Bespin. The crew was also being observed by a Moon in the background, who had a small boy carrying around a briefcase for him. And we pick up right at the end of their interaction as Hurus Jaft laid out some crystals, some Kyber crystals, in fact, for both ED57 and Dr. Silas Shakti to see if there was a connection that could be made between them. And sadly, none was to be had. And so we have two possible Jedi characters with no lightsaber between the two of them. But this is where we come in to see everyone. I'm glad that we have the special guest Grogu with us. Both in both different portions of the world that you two exist in. Clearly, when I get back from Colorado, I'm going to have a session where I go buy a Grogu for myself.
He has a little hat.
He has a little hat.
He has a little hat. I love him so much.
Bless his heart.
I'm mentally preparing myself for what's gonna have to be done.
What's going to have to be done?
I don't know. If Brandon's in charge, it's not gonna be good.
Touche.
Excuse me?
What? Huh?
After what I saw last session.
I quit that.
I like
Yeah.
games.
Wow. We're not even
this vampire blood in me.
We're not even 2 minutes into this session, and bombs are being dropped.
Best one was Lucas last week.
Yeah. So
That was great.
Lucas, for those of you following, lives out in the sticks of Georgia. Oh, my goodness. Speak of the
time.
devil.
Talk about just
Have you
making an
found
entrance.
Bigfoot?
Not yet. This is Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, the expedition in the heart of Georgia has paid off. And we got us our
You gotta load that Starbucks internet.
Yeah, right? So, Lucas may be coming in and out. Just be aware of that, everyone. But good to have you. I was just about to figure out how to get rid of you.
Okay.
But you are all on Bespin. The Republic is footing the bill for the repairs, so nobody has to worry about that coming out of their pockets. And the Mon Cal Hurus Jaft, who is a a reddish color with dark brown spots and just these kind of enlarged forearms. And this really rather athletically built and skinny rest of his body. Does not look like a typical Jedi to any of you, but he does have the robes. He does have the kyber crystals, but you notice that there are no visible lightsabers hanging from the front of his belt. But he gathers up his crystals, puts them back in the box, and then proceeds to tell you that he will meet you in the morning when the Major will meet with all of you to see about this whole situation with Yandro. So, he exits the ship. The captain sits down at the table. Yandro sits down with him. And the captain puts his blaster on the table as he turns his gaze over to Edie and the doctor. When were you going to plan on telling me that you were a Jedi this whole time? Either of you. I don't care which one of you answers, but I do want an answer.
I've been saying it since I've arrived on the ship.
To be fair, he hasn't shut up about it.
I do agree with that.
It's true. He has made it pretty clear. On the other hand, not. I apologize if it feels like I apologize for deceiving you, all of you. Honestly, I have a lot of... I don't remember everything that happened to me, and I have a lot of shame about that. And so I didn't want to dwell on that part of my life and wanted to just move on. And so I was not intentionally keeping it from any of you. I was just keeping it for myself because I didn't want to deal with it.
Mm.
That explains why you didn't like my cooking.
It was great, Flynn. I'm hungry often.
That explains it.
That
That explains it.
That's exactly why.
Yes, must explain it.
So, now you all are aware that I don't hold secrets against you. I pride myself on making sure that the past is the past. So whatever brought you to my crew, I don't care. But now that you're a part of it, like, we have to have an understanding that secrets are destructive by nature, corrosive. Is there anything right now that anyone wants to get off of their chests, knowing that they will not be judged for it? But we need to understand that we got to be on the same foot moving forward.
I did want to shoot Edie one more time, but I decided against it. If we're laying the cards out on the table.
I mean, to be fair, I wanted to shoot him one more time too.
I'm not a fan of this conversation.
It's a good thing you're not part of the crew then, isn't it?
I suppose you're right.
I guess there were shots fired, after all.
And he's like, alright. Holsters his blaster. And he's like, best get some rest. Bespin tends to move fast. And he's like, Flit, I'm not gonna question you about anything that happened. It's your prerogative. I'm not gonna have dinner tonight. And he kind of goes over and walks into his room and closes the door. Yandro sits there for a moment and then just kind of nods and also walks to his room and closes the door. So the five of you are left in the common area of the Neverwhere.
Flid,
Doctor. Oh. No, I interrupted you.
Flid, I do hope that you are okay. It's not like you to disappear for that time, and especially that's not necessarily your favorite area, the turret. So I hope everything is okay for you.
Uh, yeah. I was just going over some new recipes, and I just needed some time to myself and in my head because I don't want to cook the same thing and bore you guys with the same thing over and over again. So
Flid,
yeah, everything's good.
Flid. By all means, do not feel as though we are all close. And I look at I look at everybody but Edie. Um, we you don't have to. You never have to tell us everything. In my opinion, as long as you have my back, that is all I care about. And if you feel the need to discuss your issues, by all means, you always have an ear with Silas Winchester. However, don't feel the necessity to have to explain yourself. I just want to make sure that you are all right.
But I really appreciate that, Silas. Really appreciate that. And then you can count on me. I got your back. Though you probably don't need it, but yeah, I got your back.
It's always nice to have friends.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have friends. You guys, friends, and probably the next thing I have to family out here, and that means a lot.
Doctor,
I'm
speaking of family, you said you don't really recall your past history. Um, are you completely is your past history completely unknown, or do you have some control over your abilities?
So my whole past is not gone. I remember my childhood. I remember my young adulthood. I just don't remember what happened after like a pretty formative event when I first started training as a Jedi. I woke up honestly and I was here, and that is like last thing. I don't know how long ago that was. I don't know if it was years ago. I don't know if it was months ago. I don't know if it was last week. I mean, obviously it wasn't last week. I was with you all last week. I don't know how long ago it was.
Now, I feel it goes without saying, but I do want to make sure because obviously that last incident here originated from you, and I look at Gar and I go, and this crystal that was found, and I kind of like nod at Gar. There's nothing for us to concern ourselves with, given as though now the two Jedi that are on our ship both caused this ripple that injured the crew.
I will give you my word that I have nothing in my person or on me in my vicinity that would do you harm. And of course that I would never intentionally do you harm, period. I no longer have crystal. I no longer have the ability to make that happen.
Wait, we can't hear Lucas. We couldn't hear you.
Oh yeah,
No.
you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
There you go.
No, now you're muted again.
Oh, there goes
There you go.
stuff.
Now you're unmuted.
Starbucks.
Yeah. So do you think that power came from you, or were you, or the crystal? Like, did any of that happen during training with you, Doctor?
It never happened during training. Look at ED. What am I sensing?
ED is stoic. Like he's a droid. It's a droid, so there's no real facial features to help you in any way, shape, or form.
The droid is stoic, but the crystal's sweating like a motherfucker.
Yep.
So, just to be clear, it's just you two, right? Nobody else is gonna come up and pop up and say I'm a Jedi also. Or Silas?
I don't think so.
Barnaby is also a Jedi.
What?
And you just see his arms go shoot up.
Yeah.
That was
Okay,
a
just
joke. Ha 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 ha. Did only
Oh,
I
boy.
find it funny?
I look at him and then I look at him and then I look over at Yandro and I'm like, so anyway.
Remember, it's only you five out here. Yandro.
Oh,
and
it's
the
only
cap-
us. Yandro left. Okay.
Yeah, Yandro
All
and the
right, never
captain
mind,
left.
sorry.
But yeah,
I'm
after
gonna
after
start
that
this.
whole situation where he says that he made a joke, like Barnaby slowly lowers his hands, and
I
then
look down at him.
and then his head slowly lowers as well.
That's my cue to start dinner.
My only friend.
like, should we think of some kind of a contingency plan where we to or for things not to work necessarily in Yandro's favor tomorrow?
Sure.
I'm
What?
We
I'm
should
not
have one.
familiar. That Mon Calamari Jedi. I'm hoping that he has enough pull to get us through the situation, but because I mean, I feel like we're lacking a little bit in what we need to be able to resolve this. But those gods seem trigger happy, and I should know.
If I may interrupt you, Silas.
A nod to Edie.
In the event of an altercation, I am quite handy with a blade. I only need assistance in acquiring a vibro sword, seeing as I am unable to currently acquire a kyber crystal. If the event of an altercation were to arise, I would gladly assist you in fending off guards.
A nod. I go into my bunk. I excuse myself for a second.
Yep.
And I'll bring out the blaster rifles that I found from the very beginning.
Sure.
I found 6 blaster rifles, and I'm like, I did locate in your husk that you traveled in these items, and I put the 2 that are working aside, and I put the other the remaining 4 around, and I'm like, in case we need additional firepower. Unfortunately, this one there's a possibility that we could get it working, but these other 3 we may need to do a little bit of trickery to be able to get them all functioning. I don't know if I'm not exactly 100% familiar with the repairs for these things, but maybe this could assist.
Could I try and repair that?
Sure. Do you have blaster repair?
No.
Would technical work?
It would default to your technical if you wanted to try to.
What's your technical though?
My
4.
Oh yeah, so can I assist him since I have blaster repair?
Yes, you sure can.
Okay.
So
Is it going to be one for each weapon or overall?
It's going to be 1 roll for each weapon. Yep.
Okay.
And so let's have. Where's my thing here?
One at a time?
Yeah, let's do it 1 at a time.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your technical. And then we'll have Silas roll. Ooh.
Okay.
Let's.
Okay.
So, as you set yourself down to work on the first blaster rifle that he pulls out, you've noticed that some of the atmosphere has seeped into the room from all the traveling back and forth, and it misfires and destroys the actual emitter's chamber.
Okay.
So you've destroyed one of your blaster rifles.
All right, we got 3 left. Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
Okay.
That's 2 destroyed.
Yep. Again, you
Oh,
sit down and you kind of figure out, okay, if this is what's happened, then I can definitely work around the other end of the spectrum, and you destroy the what would be like the piston chamber of the gun that transforms the gas into the energy. So you destroyed a second rifle.
Cool.
all right. Can I grab one before he destroys all of them?
Yes.
All right.
Do you want me
I
to-
pressed
do you
it
want me to
once.
take care of
Let's
the
see how
third
many
one,
we get.
or-
Oh,
We only get one.
we got 2.
Oh,
So,
that's not that great.
no, I mean 11 is not great, but because Silas helps you, you do get it into a position where it doesn't have any ammo, but it looks like it will fire correctly. Like this will be a actual blaster rifle that you can use if you so desired.
Awesome. So so we got 2 destroyed, 1. So we got 1 left to try to repair.
Hey.
Hey,
What does that blue mean?
It means your 6 and your 1 contest each other.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's the first time I saw that.
Yep. It's weird. So, between the 3 of you, you managed to salvage 2 of the blaster rifles. Neither of them have any actual ammo left over, so you can't test them. But they do feel like they didn't blow up, and so far that's been a good sign of you succeeding.
Well, we just need to find some ammunition for these, but
No.
at least we've got some extra firepower.
Yeah, working on blasters, by the way, on Bespin is not the best, since they harvest Tibana gas on Bespin, which is what makes blasters fire. That's why it was a difficult roll.
Hey.
Chance that we could have just killed ourselves.
It was incredibly high. Like if you had missed the difficulty by more than 15, you would have destroyed. You would have started rolling damage against people in the room.
You know, this is only the second time that we almost all die. So, I like our odds as a group.
Yeah,
And both of them were for you. From
Hey, we
you.
need to point out that second half. That didn't have to get pointed out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You only
Do my
dis-
best.
You're muted again, Lucas. I understood that.
That's a Starbucks. That's a Starbucks.
Take your time.
I forgot what I was even saying there.
That's how that happens. So you've destroyed 2 rifles. You've salvaged 2, and you had 2 from before that were working.
Yeah.
So one of you will be rifleless if you guys decide to roll up in there with guns blazing.
I don't need a rifle, Will.
It's correct. I apologize. So all of you can
got my
have
glasses.
guns if you so desired.
I shouldn't be allowed to have that.
I don't have any, what?
I don't need one.
I don't have any skills in that.
I have a heavy red.
Yeah.
I
have a
when
clear.
everybody says that, I'm like,
Use my hand.
I'm not. I'm not necessarily saying that you have to fire them. Sometimes the threat of a weapon is sufficient to calm some folks.
Catch your drift. I can do
But
that.
if the case arises, I'd rather be alive and using a gun than dead and not.
However, we must also understand that the threat of a weapon also causes the threat to arise. We do
I'm
not
not.
want to go into a room with a Jedi and a Grand Marshal only to leave with one less of us.
I agree. I'm not saying for us to openly carry these weapons into there. That would be ridiculous. I mean, they would shoot us on the spot.
Mhm.
But if we need to, we can always maybe store them somewhere that, if the need arises, we can access them quickly. Just throwing it out there. We may want. I don't know if we're going to be able to find any ammunition for them on the ship. I can ask the captain, but it's always, again, it's better to be safe and sorry than sorry. We may not need them, but it's good to have just in case.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know this.
Violence just leads to death.
Yeah, Flid, but if you get a blaster in your back, I don't get any more of your delicious food.
It's
And
true.
the food
It's
is
true.
so delicious.
You wouldn't know.
I'm trying to be supportive.
He's trying, Flid. He's trying.
Flid, why do you not like me?
What's
I
funny is that Flid was
understand.
his favorite at first.
Yeah.
He was like, "You have not done anything to hurt me," and now it's like, "Why do you hate me?"
I understand why
Why?
Silas does not like me, but why you, Flid? We almost shook hands before you went into the turret.
Oh, we never almost did anything
In,
like
in
of that
my
nature.
heart, we did.
Oh no, I. It's not you. It is you. Just don't like droids.
Flid, does it help if I told you I'm not a droid?
When Flid says that, I grab Barnaby's ear where his ears would be, and I cover it.
Yep.
I'm like, he doesn't mean you, Barnaby.
Barnaby, I've grown accustomed to Barnaby though. Barnaby helps out in the kitchen, and he's my little sous chef.
And you see that he does at that mention, he does kind of walk over, and he grabs a little handful of Flid's like pant leg, and he just moves his ocular, like he just looks up at you with a head tilt, like he understands what he means to you.
Okay. I pick him up and put him on the table. I put him on the table. I pick him up and put him on the table.
Yeah, he sits down next to you, and he just kind of puts his hand on your forearm.
Yeah, Barnaby's probably the first and only droid that I've actually liked.
Yep.
Well, I will go on a killing spree if you ever take Barnaby from me. I'm warning you right now that this group, I think this whole group at this point will destroy the galaxy.
Set it ablaze for
It
Barnaby.
will be filled with Linda.
Yo, Mr. Flit, non-violence will come out at anybody.
Yeah.
I don't even like droids.
Knives. He's with butcher knives, just murdering people.
Just murdering everybody. For
Throwing hot pies at people's faces.
Hot pies.
It's a shameful carrot.
It'll be like the end of The Professional, where he's just like, for Barnaby. Just has a handful of like grenade pins.
Yep.
For Barnaby though, not Edie.
Yeah, no, for Barnaby.
Oh, not Edie. No.
No,
Not Edie. Not yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
not there.
That's the end of the season 1.
So
What time is it?
it is on Bespin. It is currently what would be considered evening.
Are shops open or no? Or would I not know that?
Sure, the shops might be open. Depends on what you're looking for.
Would someone like to accompany me in acquiring a vibro sword?
Sounds fun.
Where are you? Where are you planning on acquiring this said vibro sword? It's not like there's a vibro swords are us in on Bespin.
This is a mining planet. Might be a little difficult.
I agree with God.
If I'm being honest, I was hoping there would be a sort of vibro swords are us, as you put it. But if there is not, then I truly do need the assistance.
Do you have any credits?
Yes.
Then we could probably find you something. Would you prefer if we accompanied you?
That is why I asked. You may not consider me part of your crew, but I definitely consider you all friends.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Except you, Fred. You do not like me for some reason.
I
That was a
shall
joke.
accompany. Yeah, I was like, I shall accompany you.
Thank you, Silas.
Maybe we can find some ammunition for these rifles.
I'll come along.
You know what? I think I'm gonna see if I find some new ingredients out here. Check out what they have as far as food.
Well, if we're all going,
Yeah,
It looks like it's a field trip. It looks like a field trip.
yeah. So sure enough, you guys walk out walk down the ramp. You see the Aether Sprite ship there, and as you step out into the cool air of Bespin's evening, it looks breathtaking to some of you who have never seen a gas planet before or have never been on the surface of a gas planet. Between the swirls of the gas that's being mined beneath the station itself, there's pockets of clouds that will swoop in, and then in the very instance that they've kind of accumulated will also disperse as the gas itself is being collected. And so you have remnants of the gas kind of giving the sky a hazy look, almost like an aurora. But it is blue, shifting to red, going through the purple kind of spectrum. And although you know that the gas giant is Tibana gas, it doesn't have a really heavy scent to it. There's something nostalgic about it for different reasons for all of you who can smell, Edie accepted. The temperature is really nice. It's a nice like 75, 76 kind of cool breeze along your skin. And you notice that the Moncal is underneath his ship, kind of working on whatever he is currently working on. And he has an R5 droid kind of sitting there next to him. But you also notice that there's pit droids running around. There's workers, and there's different kind of heavy machinery droids that are coming and going and bringing equipment and plates and other things to help fix the ship. But the evening at Bespin is yours. What would you like? Where would you like to start your adventure for this vibro sword?
I mean, is there I guess we ask a guard if there's some kind of a armory or some kind of a weapons vendor or something like that.
Uh, one of the guards posted at the entrance to this starport landing pad looks over at you. He's like, yeah, I mean, there's a bazaar near the top layer of the spiral. You could go check out. Different things come in and make its way down there. But up here, this is all kind of living quarters and business, really. The day-to-day goings on of different corporations that have a stake in the Tabana gas. Fancy.
I know, that's right. So I get it delivered. I believe that's probably going to be our best bet, folks. Let's head up to that bazaar.
Right. Any one of the main
Sounds like a
lifts.
plan.
Any one of the main lifts should take you there. Just be careful. The spiral tends to attract unsavory people.
I try to disassociate myself with those types of people. I appreciate that. I just smirk and I keep walking.
He kind of tilts his head, given that he probably has heard why your group is here, but he shrugs it off.
Don't make me shoot him. No, Katie's face like, no, please, don't do this.
But
I'm not shooting.
it is easy enough to find one of the main lifts. The spiral is not clearly defined on the levels, so how would you like to go about guessing where to go?
Well, he said top, so I'm guessing we press the top button. If Vader comes out, we open it. Oh no, it's not around yet.
Yeah,
No, you open up. Oh no!
Can I use
Traveled in the future.
Can I use like Streetwise or Planetary System Streetwise, right?
It would be streetwise,
figure it
yeah,
out?
if you want to try to figure out the elevator, the lift.
It's the button with the most grease on it.
And Will, while he does that,
Yeah.
I go into my like wherever I have it hidden, and I pull out the vibro knife and I flip it and I hand the handle towards Edie. I'm like, "Till you found the vibro blade, at least this may be something in case things get hairy."
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
I expect that back.
I mean, he has nowhere to hide it,
Obviously.
so
It's just in my
He's just gonna be holding it.
yeah,
Really?
Oh, man.
No, I'll put it back. I'm not gonna have him stand around with a blade.
yeah.
Why would you give me protection and then remove it from me?
You can't be Edie. You can't be walking around with a blade in your hand. That sends the wrong message, as we
Yes.
discussed previously.
That I am protected and that people should not attack me?
That's what the rest of us are
You're
here.
the one that
Okay.
the weapon raises the risk.
Yes, but now I have one.
Had past tense.
I love Slid. Had.
Here you go.
And he's right. You had. So yeah. So you guys, you're gonna press the top button of the thing.
Yep. Right. I mean,
What does my Streetwise tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Field check.
So given what you've known, about what you've heard of Bespin, the spiral is what they call the kind of conical shape at the bottom. So going up would be going away from the spiral itself. So as Silas kind of leans in and goes for the top button, you know that that's going to take you away from the spiral.
No. And I like my hand over his hand. I'm like, no. Shouldn't do that. And,
Well, by all means, my friend.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That was rude. Sorry. I think we should go over here. And I pressed the button.
Okay.
Go in the right direction.
All right, so you press one of the random lower level buttons, and you feel the lift start shooting downward. There's a little bit of that up pull on your stomachs for those of you that have them. And after about maybe a minute, the elevator comes to a stop. And the first thing that hits you is just these vibrant smells of different things that are cooking. Different spices are burning.
Oh my
different
gosh.
different meats.
We lost him.
There's it is for those of you that have noses, it is a pungent pack of different scents. Meats, spices, flora. There is just
I started doing a little dance.
the next thing that hits you is just the noise. It is a cacophony of music and barkers kind of trying to sell wares and whatnot. And as the doors open to this floor that doesn't have any windows to the outside and is just illuminated by this painted glass of floating light that kind of permeates the entire level, it looks like at any point in time that above you could reach up and touch a stained glass window of just glowing ambient light. There are businesses that line the main street around the entire circular lift. There's a good kind of road in between the lift and the main part of this what is this bazaar, and it is about 10 meters wide, almost 15 meters wide. And each of the streets, there's 3 main streets that lead out into the rest of this floor from this lift, are about 20 to 30 meters wide. Like, these are big streets, and they're all almost packed. People are walking back and forth. People are dancing in the streets. There's a kind of very festive feeling to this level.
I start dancing.
Yeah. There's very familiar scents to each of you. Gardef can easily smell what could only be described as some kind of poultry being seared in Nerectite brandy. It is one of the stronger brandies that you've had, and it is one of the things that you've always dreamed of having aboard your kind of party vessel. It is cheaply made. It is cheaply made, but it packs the punch of something that is refined for like about 15 or 20 years.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna look for a bottle of that.
All right. There are plants as far as you can see, Dr. Shakti. There are spices. There are women of all sorts of dress and undress. Anything that you could possibly want, you can find here in the bazaar.
Wow. I will also follow my nose and the plants and spices and
Yep.
maybe.
So Gardef starts to kind of meander away from the group. Dr. Shakti starts to meander away from the group in a different direction. Where's everybody else going?
I'm sticking with Edie because I don't need more problems on Bespin.
How quickly do I lose them? If I can I like keep an eye on them and also do my own thing, or would I lose them really fast?
Once you go down one of the main streets, they're invisible to you. They're gone. There's so much movement between the bodies coming and going that it is.
Okay.
It is once you go down the main street that they could be dead for all you know.
So then I wouldn't just go away without saying anything. I would, ask if we want to have a rendezvous point and time, or should we all just stick to what we were gonna do for real and stick together the whole time? I see some things that are really enticing, and I would love to go and take a look at some of the stuff here. But I also want to be supportive of all of us.
Are you saying this before or after Gar disappears? Oh.
No.
Oh, there he goes. He played it out.
Yeah.
I disappeared.
Guard
Yeah,
disappears.
he was like, no.
And he's back.
He role played that. Yeah, Lucas role played that amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes when you go,
Prom
you gotta
gone.
go. Yeah.
They closed Starbucks.
Yeah.
I mean, Doctor, I don't feel too concerned with the situation. If by all means, if there's something that you would like to observe and you feel confident going by yourself, no one will stop you. My main interest is to make sure that Edie, and I look at Edie and I'm like, I mean no disrespect, is useful to us. So Bob, if getting him this vibro blade will benefit us and keep our heads attached to the necks, I'll probably be sticking with him.
Got it. Did we decide to meet at should we give ourselves an hour and I'll find you after that?
An hour works for me. We can simply make this the rendezvous point.
It's good. I don't mind
If that is in
if you
agreement
don't
with everybody.
Sounds like a good idea. And also, if you don't mind, I can tag along with you because you did say something about spices, and spices are great.
Yeah,
Use the buddy system.
good.
Buddy system is always good.
Yeah. Unless you're Gar. And Gar just went straight for the brandy.
Yeah, he's like, woo. We were like, you role played this amazing, Lucas. You just disappeared.
Just
You're like,
left.
I'm gonna go drink now.
But sure enough, you see that you kind of separate into three different groups. Gardef by himself, Dr. Shakti and Flid go off in one direction, and then Silas and Edie are kind of standing there, stepping off of the lift and looking at this wonder. This is probably the first time that Edie has ever seen this many people.
Boy.
Nope.
We lost two people. Oh. Katie role played her character now.
Yeah. But she didn't take Ike with her.
Oh, hey, there she is.
She come back?
Like, be on your toes. These bazaars can get rough.
Surely I can do that.
I'll start walking.
Yep. As you both kind of start making your way down one of the streets, you see for a moment it looks like there's just this haze of of colored mist that shoots out from one establishment, and then a crowd of people shoots forward and past it, and you can just see them, as the colored mist kind of falls on their clothing or their face, that it shifts for the color that it actually is. Can you come back? Yes. There she is. And as you step forward, you hear a familiar voice, and suddenly two arms wrap around the torso of Silas Winchester. And Edie, you can see this human female that you don't recognize, that you've never seen before, just bury her face into the back of Silas Winchester.
Silas, we are under attack. Give me
I,
the knife.
I immediately grab for the hands, and I look down.
It is one of the girls that you saved.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
You see that she is dressed in what looks to be a very kind of business-like attire. It's the power pants, the power suit kind of thing. And she just kind of looks up at you. She's just like, I knew it was you the second I saw you.
I put my arm. I turn around and I put like my arm on her face. I'm like, "You look well, little one."
It's thanks to you. We managed to get passage off of that world, and we're here now.
Both of you?
Yeah. Are you busy? I can buy you a drink if you'd like. Is this your droid?
And I look over at Edie and I go, he's
We
He's
are
an acquaintance.
friends. Oh, or not.
like
Perfect.
friend. And I go, friend. Yes. He is a friend of mine.
Oh, I didn't know you were in that camp when it came to droids. I'm sure it shouldn't be an issue. But come on. I'll show you to our establishment. And
I look at Edie and I'm like, I like nudge. I'm like, come on.
But we only have an hour.
she does not hold your hand. She just kind of starts moving through the crowd. So if you want,
No, I move. I start moving. No, I follow her.
Okay.
Oh,
So you are.
I guess I'm following him.
Yeah. You are taken to an establishment called the Gunslinger's Tavern. And you see that there are...
After me.
Yeah. And you see the other girl behind the bar kind of tending the place. And there are artist depictions of the situation that happened. And you can just see what might be construed for Silas on the walls. And just this image of this brooding, larger-than-life kind of figure in what looks to be Mandalorian armor, holding chains attached to two women who are very clearly the woman that hugged him in the street and the woman behind the bar. And then you see that in the next kind of wall mural that there's no time between where Silas is kind of standing and where Silas is holding his gun out. And there's this dead, plump humanoid where the chains kind of coalesced. And the next panel, and it's just like above him, above that kind of image, it just says the Gunslinger. You are safe here. Underneath him.
I live here now, guys. By the way. Good night. I'm out.
Silas,
But
why
cheers-
is there a cold
cheers to
to
Silas.
on Bespin?
And I chuckle and I'm like,
But you hear her say, Hattie, look! And as she looks up from behind the bar, she sees you, and you see immediately tears start to swell up in her eyes. And she yells out, everybody out! We're closed for a private event. And she brings out a huge bottle from behind the bar and just puts it on the bar top itself. And everybody
Silas
starts
has a fan club.
everybody starts grumbling, and she's like, I don't care, your last drink is on the house, just get out. And at that point, everybody kind of just like shrugs it off and starts to make their way out of the bar. Uh,
I want to count how many people just left.
oh shit. 16 people just left.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Can I do the math on how much money they just lost?
You'd have to find out how much a drink averages.
Oh, the second I walk up there, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna, I want to tap into their register. I want to see if I can figure it out that way.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Oh boy.
Let's
Fuck it.
Why not?
yeah, let's have you make the roll.
Computer mind, and that's with computer programming.
Yes,
Right,
stretch out with your weird. Yeah.
You can sense that, but you can't sense a crystal.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
They're different roles, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot I put the key
Yeah.
in that too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true. An average beer.
Exact role.
An average beer at this establishment is 10 credits. An average high liquor drink is 20 credits. So you're guessing that they probably lost 12 credits per customer. So 12 times 16. Be like 100 and 142.
Jesus Christ.
150 credits.
192 credits.
There you go. This is why I don't math.
Yeah, I look at them and I'm like, there's really no need for this.
Yeah, and as you are having yourselves a big glass of this liquor poured, we cut over to Dr. Shakti and Flid, who are following their noses and going down a different street, and you see that there are just street vendors just selling different kinds of foods, meat, poultry, seafood, but there's one that is the most eye-catching to you, Katie, is the one that doesn't have any pictures or holograms of animals. It has actual plants. And as you kind of step forward, you notice that there is this one plant that's in a very kind of clear but colored fishbowl of water, and as you step over to it, its long, thin fronds kind of reach out to you like an octopus. Like it almost knows that you're there, and it starts to kind of feel your face, like it's trying to interact with you.
Oh my gosh. I totally let it feel my face. I put my hand up and does it react to my hand?
Oh yeah. It immediately touches it, and then you see like a group of its fronds wrap themselves into the same motion of a hand, and it kind of puts what it would be its fingertips against your fingertips.
Oh my gosh. I need this plant. Oh boy.
And you see as
okay, so can I shake his hand?
Yeah. Immediately as you start shaking its hand, you see the guy that owns the stall kind of take the spatula and slap the top of the fishbowl, and the plant kind of shakes, and all of its fronds recoil into the bowl. And he just looks over. It's like, I am sorry. It is very handsy, but I am trying to teach it to keep itself in its bowl. And again, he slaps the plant. It's like bad plant.
What do you want for the plant? What do you want for it?
Oh, it is not for sale. It is a kind of family pet that has been donated to me from cousin.
What about 100 credits?
I mean, it is last gift cousin gave me. Maybe 100 credits is enough on your world, but it is not enough here. No.
Do I hear all this?
Yeah.
Or see all this?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, so can I? Alright, let me see. Hold on. I see the value of this plant.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Like, okay.
Wait a minute.
What?
Ooh.
I didn't know that was a roll.
Yeah, you can value something. You can find the value of something.
Yeah.
You've seen these plants before. They are not rare or um, treasured in any sense of the word. And you could easily get one of these plants on the right planet for like 30 credits.
Okay.
But he was me.
Excuse me. Excuse
Yes.
me. Excuse me.
Are you saying that to me or to the person?
To the gentleman.
Okay. He looks at you. He's like,
Did I just-
yes.
did I just
Would you like to buy some spices? I have them from the Outer Rim.
Not if you're gonna be overcharging and price gouging,
Price
because
gouging.
that's what you're doing right now.
I would never price
Yes.
gouge.
I just heard you charge my friend here 100 credits. This plant that she wants.
It is treasure. Yes, it is. It was given to me by my cousin.
Okay.
It's not a treasure. It's not that rare, and it shouldn't be 100. It's actually a lot less. And I got bargain, right? Yeah. I make a roll for that.
Are you gonna try to bargain him down?
Persuasion.
Try to haggle him?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, go. Or either one of them, whichever one you want to try.
While this is happening, can I like meditate with the plant? Can I try to connect to the plant?
Sure, make a sense roll.
We're price gouging because it's not even worth that much, and you just charged her double the amount. It's ridiculous.
He looks at you. He's like,
Trying to rip her off.
I can bring it down to 50 credits then, since you are so knowledgeable in plants.
50.
There is a life
I don't
form.
think it's 50.
There is a life form in that bowl. That plant is alive and it is intelligent. You don't know how intelligent, but it is. It could be a pet. It could be a pet style creature.
Now you're putting a price on a life.
You don't know that.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It's like it is plant. It does not.
You just said,
If I wanted
you just
to,
said it was a life.
I could kick it. I could kill it and cook it up.
No, no. Actually, you cannot eat this plant. All right, sir, and you cannot cook it up. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Make an alien species roll. Okay. Yeah, you know that if eaten, this plant is poisonous to most humanoid creatures, especially those that come from like type 1 atmospheres.
If you're cooking it, that means you're trying to poison. If you're trying to poison, that means you're trying to kill and murder. We do not stand for that. I think 50 credits might still be a little steep for my friend here.
He pulls the bowl down from its cradle, from its hooked cradle, and he's like, "You take plant and you go away. I don't want to see you again."
Sure. Fine. If that's how it's gonna be, and that's what you want, then
Don't want.
you're out of here.
I don't want to be accused for poisoning and murder. This is not who I am. I'm trying to.
You should have thought about that before you said cooking this up and cutting it up and all that.
He shoves the bowl into your hands. And he's like, "Just go. You go now. Don't like your kind here."
Hey. Fine. That's kind of rude of you too, actually. Licking my kind. And I grab the bowl and give it to Doctor and walk away.
Lid, you are the best. I can't believe you just did that. This is my best day ever.
I can't believe I just did that. I I can't believe that. I don't know what just came over me. I
Yeah.
guess that little pep talk that I had with Silas earlier about friends and family and having each other's
Yeah.
back, and like I just
Oh,
couldn't
man.
stand for him trying to haggle you and rip you off. And
Wow.
yes, and, wow, I'm so excited right now. Just whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see,
I
as you guys are kind of excitedly walking away from this whole area, you both hear this very tiny crooning kind of melody coming from the plant. Just it's underwater. The majority of the plant is underwater, so it just is this gurgled kind of humming that comes out just like, but it's just this very lovely melody. And the plant has continued to touch your face, Katie.
have I seen anything like this before? Is this similar to anything that I've
You've
seen
read
or
about
dealt
it.
with?
You've read about it. You've never gotten a chance to actually see one of these life forms up close and personal, and now it's like you have one to call your own.
Oh, I'm so excited.
you have to give it a name. They like names.
Okay, can I like meditate with the plant a little bit and see if it tells me its name?
It'll be rough given all the noise and whatnot. It's what made it rough to reach out to the plant in the first place when you tried. There's a lot of hustle and bustle. It'll be easier to do once you kind of get back to the ship. That you can kind of block all of this
so
out.
I'll tell Flit. I'm sure they've got a name. We'll figure it out soon enough.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah. We saved something.
A being.
Yeah, a life form.
Yeah, and as
Somebody
you
was trying to
guys
click.
are walking away, you hear another alien. And what looks to be a humanoid cat, from the looks of it, but it has these really long and majestic furred wings that it kind of sprawls out as it sees you, and it's just like, come, I have many wares. Would you like spices? Would you like meats? I have for you. Come. And as he extends his hand outward, this meaty clawed hand, he goes, "You come and talk to Brain Duck. I have spices for you." And we'll cut to Lucas as Gardef goes down the third street, which is the street of debauchery and bad decisions.
Debauchery.
And on this street, it is lined with what are microbreweries and just bars and what look to be hostels of some kind, or establishments where men and women can be paid to remove their clothing.
Bordellos.
Sure. That might be what happens upstairs.
So would the gunslinger be on this road?
No, the gunslinger is an offshoot of a different road.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in that statement.
You can't have all of the action in one street.
Because I wanted to just kind of pop up and be like, "Hey, it's a bar," and just have Gardef just show up. But
I mean, if you're gonna start bar hopping, you will make your way down there.
okay, we're not gonna start there yet. We got to start with the liquor, go down to beer. You're in the clear.
Sure. But sure enough, if you follow your nose to the brandy that you're looking after, you can see what looks to be this kind of rundown, ramshackle hut that can barely seat 6 people. But there are no chairs. Everybody's kind of like, anybody who finds a chair immediately takes it, and there's just standing room patrons. But there are only 3 bottles of beer, of liquor, and hanging from the ceiling. And they are kind of like the bamboo that you see in like traditional samurai movies. Like they have that spigot at the top, and as they bring it down to pour, the second it tops itself back off, there's already something pouring into it to refill the bamboo, or the bottle in this case. And there's the Nectarian brandy that your nose kind of brought you in this direction, but there's also a kind of Bespin only vodka, and there is a kind of whiskey that has a what looks to be a Mon Cal breathing fire as the image for it. And the one person behind the tiny bar kind of looks over as you enter, and he's just like, "Ah, I haven't seen your kind around here in a while. What are you looking for? What can I get you?"
Let me have some of that. Let me get a bottle of the brandy and the vodka and the whiskey.
You want the bottle? Oh, you're looking to spend.
Go.
All right. I'm not gonna ask questions. All three of them are gonna come out to 200 credits
In total?
in total. Yeah.
All right, let me just get the brandy then.
All right. The brandy's 20 credits.
Sounds good. It sounds good, and I offer him a shot of a pour from it.
Oh. He thanks you, and he says, "You know what? I'll take 2 credits off then, if you're gonna be so generous."
We both share one.
Okay. Sure enough. So you get your bottle for 18 credits instead of 20. But
See.
it is not a stingy bottle. It is the kind of bottle that would be the kind of bottle down here that has a handle, what we would call a handle of liquor, for 18 credits. So you've got a good, like, it is easily the size of your torso, the size of this bottle. So the 2 shots that you take aren't even a dip in the bucket. Like, you've got, if you take a shot a day, it looks like you might have this for a couple of months.
All right,
So
we gonna have a party.
yeah, so he's like, "You come on back if you ever need some more, and if you're gonna be
Yes,
generous
sir.
with
What was-
everything, I'll go ahead and lower the price a little bit more too."
I'll come and find you again.
I look forward to it.
Holding the bottle.
And he pats you on the back as you walk away, and he's like, just ask around for Micker."
Micker.
Yep.
Okay. Then I just kind of wander about because since I left the group without knowing where anyone is,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, oh shit, where is everyone?
Yeah. You see that the street that you're on is full of just debauchery. It is if this was an avenue, it is Bad Decision Avenue. And you can just see people are in all sorts of inebriation, inside, outside, hanging from different things, awnings, seats, tables. There's a lot of drunken yoga being done on the sides of the street. But the main thoroughfare itself just constantly keeps moving. People are coming and going, and there will be times when people will like duck into a place, or people are coming out of a place and kind of stumbling, but the pace is constant. There's movement here in the bazaar.
Okay. Okay, then I'm gonna just kind of step into the nearest one and just see what the vibe is like inside the bar.
Okay. The one that you kind of decide to give it a try, you can see what is a keyboardist with a guitar and just a a drummer behind him, and they're just making this music. Is the what most people would call it, but it's just noise. But something else is happening, or something else is being played above it, on top of it, layered, that turns it into music. And it takes a while for it to kick in once you come in, because you only hear the guitar and the drums at first. And as you step into the actual like establishment, that's when you start hearing the layered beat over it. And you can see that there's a droid bartender, and as you step up, its face opens up, kind of like down the middle and back, and you just see this screen come up and say, "What would you like to drink?" And then the screen kind of drops down towards you, and it offers you different pictures of the drinks that they have here. And if you tap the name of the thing, it tells you what it's made out of, or what it takes to kind of concoct it.
Okay. I want to try that Moncal whiskey.
Okay, sure enough. You tap it, and a glass of it is going to come out to 30 credits.
Okay.
Okay. So it asks you to swipe your credit. What's it called? The credit cylinder.
Okay.
And once you do, it checks off, and you can see that your money is deducted. And then it turns around and it grabs at a couple of different bottles, and then it pours something into a glass, and then it puts all the bottles back and slides the glass towards you. It looks like seawater. Like it is a glass of glowing seawater. There's a little LED light in the glass itself that kind of illuminates it to give it that look. But if you kind of slosh it, it does look like the sea after a storm. Like the top of it is kind of foamy. The top of the actual water is kind of bluish green, and the bottom is just dark blue.
Okay. It's just a shot of the stuff, or is it a drink, or
No, it is a lowball glass. It is a lowball. There's
Okay.
no ice in it.
Okay. Then I just sip on that and look around, see if there's anyone's playing any kind of game.
All right. You sip it, and you notice that even though there's no ice in the cup itself, the drink is cold. And so much so that the foam actually kind of gets on your upper lip, and it feels like as you lick it off that is where the cooling factor is. That it feels like ice, like icicles, that have kind of held onto your lip. You can see that there's a couple of people playing what looks to be a game of billiards, and there's another couple of people at another table playing some kind of card game. It looks like sabak. And then there's another table that has what looks to be a kind of craps. They're throwing some kind of dice.
Okay. He gets kind of itchy looking at all the games playing, and he's like, he finishes his drink and he goes ahead and heads out and looks for his, he's looking for the nearest crew member before he gets in too much trouble, and they won't be able to find him.
Okay. And as you exit back into the street, we'll go back to the gunslinger, and we see Hattie and the other girl, who you now learned is named Krilla. They sit behind the bar and they ask you questions about where you've been, what you've been doing, why your droid talks the way he does.
Nobody knows that, my dears.
There's
But he is-
nothing wrong with my voice.
I take a swig. Of course not. Of course not. So this, I'm speechless. I don't feel I deserve this. I saw an injustice, and I couldn't sit by idly. you two girls deserve better, and clearly you've done that for yourself.
It's because of you. You stopped the injustice that was happening on the planet, and now we're here. We wouldn't be here without you. And they both kind of raise their glass to you.
I toast them. I'm gonna take another swig.
Yeah.
Stand there.
Yeah.
Have you been on Bespin since that fateful day?
No, we made our way over here about 2 years ago. Once we scrounged up enough money, doing other odds and ends that weren't as prestigious as this.
Can I ask? My friend here is looking for a decently priced vibroblade. Do you know of any establishment in this area that you would feel comfortable sending him to?
Where's your friend? Maybe we can.
It's me. I am the friend, as previously introduced.
One of them.
And I nod.
One of them laughs, and then the other one, the one that hugged Jeff, kind of looks over and he's just like, droids aren't allowed to have weapons. Like, unless
As you can tell by my robes, I am actually a Jedi Padawan.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna ask about that, but you're not allowed to impersonate a Jedi either.
I'm not.
He's correct. It seems that apparently beyond any possible reason that he is in fact a Jedi Padawan.
She looks at you and she pushes you on the side. She's like, "Get out."
Why you invited him in? Why would you force him out?
He doesn't understand sarcasm and humor. He is in fact he is in fact a Jedi Padawan. It's been made pretty clear by the Jedi Knight that arrived here just yesterday or earlier today, right?
Yeah.
We haven't slept yet, right?
No.
Earlier today.
She looks at you. She's like, "A Jedi's here."
Apparently there's quite a few Jedi here.
Yes.
Hasn't been a Jedi on Bespin in years. Not since. Did this Jedi come invited?
No.
Huh.
Why?
Yeah. I think we know. There's a.
Can I like? I want to like figure out what they're hiding. Can I use the Force for that, or would it be a different role?
What abilities do you have? Let's take a look at what abilities you have.
Concentration, accelerate, healing, life detection, life sense, telekinesis, lightsaber combat, accelerate another healings, and affect mind.
I've written all that down.
All of it. I don't think that you can try to sense lies with life sense. It would be a very hefty roll if you wanted to try.
What could I do with while he's doing that? What could I do to sense if they're lying?
Oh, that's a much different roll. What?
Investigation.
Investigation. Yeah, investigation could work.
Okay, I will investigate then.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
I hear the sound of disappointment. Yeah, I see the disappointment.
So it'd be investigation?
Yeah, you could roll investigation if you like.
Oh, it was less than his.
Yep.
We're both.
You silly fucks. So they kind of take in what you said, and then they look. The one that hugged Jeff earlier, Krilla. She looks over. She's like, I know someone that is a weaponsmith. He's a couple floors down. His name is Marcoon. He's tell him that we sent you from here, from the gunslinger, and he'll take care of you.
Do you know which floor exactly?
Yeah, like I said, 2 down.
Oh, my apologies.
That's what a couple means, Edie. I radio everybody, and I'm like, in the comms, and I just kind of say, the Gunslinger's Tavern is a mighty fine establishment that you may all want to check out.
Mighty fine is a word that I would not use for cult.
Why is ED on the comms? And I'm on my way.
I tell the girls, I'm like, it really is. It does bring joy to this this heart of mine to see that both of you have made something of yourselves. I know you start where you were when we met, where you are now.
It's a long way.
It makes me proud. If it means anything, you have made me proud.
Yeah.
I look around.
It does. By the time Dr. Shakti and Flid get this message about the gunslinger, you could have bought some spices if you'd like. You can mark off 50 credits worth. If you want anything bigger like meats, it'll be a little bit more expensive, but you have access to that.
And I want to buy purchase some spices, and
I would get whatever spices
probably
he wanted because he got me the plant. So I'll pay for $50
2 souvenirs for my boys.
50 credits worth of it.
Okay.
If there's something that catches, there's something that catches my.
Both of you were talking at the same time.
Yeah, I heard most of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dr. Shakti is going to pay for the spices. So you can mark off 20 credits for just souvenirs, Flid, for your boys.
And the
Were
spices
there any
too.
spices that were like not for food but for medicine? Was there anything?
There are herbs that you could have bought also for medicinal purposes. Sure. That'll be another 100 credits.
Whoa, 100! What if I don't get all of them?
We only get like a quarter of them.
You
Some of the medicines.
could sparse them out into different focuses. Like if you want to focus on just headaches, you could probably get that for 20 credits. If you wanted to do muscle aches, that'll be 50 credits. But if you wanted to do something like sprains or things like that, that'll be 30 credits.
Okay. Is there anything that's good for like immediate, like stopping
spices
bleeding,
and like
or like
souvenirs for
immediate
my
first aid
boys?
more
How much altogether?
The
as
first
opposed to aches
Cooking
and pains?
spices.
Yeah, the souvenirs for your boys is going to be 20. Katie's buying the spices for you. The for blood clotting, there's a couple of herbs you can get. They'll probably run you 40 credits.
They will.
For blood clotting?
Yeah.
How much is it for bumba
that.
clotting?
Bumba clotting happens only at midnight.
Only a minute.
Yeah. But it's free if you know the right guy. But yeah.
Will, does the Gunslinger's Tavern have souvenirs?
Small dolls of Silas.
It does.
I want to buy it. I want to
does.
buy one for the captain.
It has shirts.
Oh, everybody's getting a shirt.
It has
Buying a shirt for everybody.
It has shirts, and instead of the dot for the eye, there's a bullet hole.
Okay, I need. I need 6 shirts. No, 7. Do they have child sizes for Barnaby?
They do actually.
I need. So I need 4 for these guys. I need 1 for Barnaby, 1 for the captain, and 1 for Yandro.
Yeah, they gladly give you the shirts for free.
Okay, perfect.
You're not getting one for yourself?
Oh, that's true. I should get one. No, because that's a little. I think that's a little much, right?
Oh,
If I wear a
okay.
shirt from.
Just making sure.
No, I'll get one for myself. I'll just hang it. I'll frame it in my bunk.
They also show you that the shirt is sweat activated. So if you're working out with it, and you see them kind of rub some water into where the bullet hole is, and it goes from just being a hole in the shirt to actually looking like a charred blaster hole.
What the fuck? I got dope merch. I give both of them a massive hug, and I thank them for everything, and I tell them if there's I tell them I'm on the Neverwhere, and if there's anything that they ever need, that all they need to do is get a message to me.
Okay. They thank you again for everything that you've done, and at this point everybody started to trickle in. You see that
I
Gardef
throw shirts at them.
Gardef has this huge fucking bottle with him, and as they come in, you notice that Dr. Shakti and Flid have different. Flid has a bunch of bags with him, but Dr. Shakti has mainly this fish bowl of this plant that just has its leaves kind of like wrapped around its face. And you can just hear
You all been busy.
and you can just hear this mogwai like humming coming from the bowl.
I look down into the bowl.
The plant starts to kind of wrap its tendrils around you as well.
Oh,
Kind of like a blind
damn.
person checking faces.
Okay.
It just kind of like wraps its long tendrils, leafy tendrils up and down your face, kind of like to get an image of what you look like.
Okay. I stand up and after it's done, I just look at all of them, like waiting for them to realize the murals, and like pose. I like pose. I'm like,
Yeah. If nobody's looking for it, it does take a moment to notice that the 12-foot tall mural of this Maris does kind of it's not an immaculate translation, but it does resemble Silas Winchester. And the 3 murals on the walls kind of denote this story of how Silas was this faster than lightning kind of quick draw that saved the 2 women behind the bar from, enslavement.
if I see them, if I catch them looking, I just look back and I'm like, oh, oh, sorry. And I grab the shirts and I start throwing it to all of. I start handing it to them. I'm like, here's some additional souvenirs for all of you. I don't say anything. I'm just like, oh yeah.
Just go back and forth between Silas and the moves.
Is Edie gonna wear the souvenir shirt?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna put it underneath my robe.
Okay.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Wow,
Thank you,
Silas, I knew I
Silas.
liked you, but I didn't know you were such a hero.
I never thought of myself as such until. I try to be as humble as possible, but.
I'm more excited for when the sermon occurs.
I'm not a pastor, Brandon. Edie. What sermon are you?
Just
It's a joke about how this is very cult-like.
just go with it. Just go with it.
Edie, you may not know what it's like to save people's lives, but when you help rather than hurt, people show gratitude.
No, but I do know how to tell a joke. That was a joke.
That's questionable.
Flid, did you like my joke?
Anyways, these are great T-shirts, Silas. These are great.
And I look at the two of them. I'm
The
like,
party
well,
one?
I tell the crew. I tell these guys. Yeah, I'm like, we have a lead a couple of levels down for weaponry. Now,
That means 2.
now, Edie here is not going to be the one making that purchase. Given what my friends here have insinuated about droids and weapons in Bespin.
I
You
mean,
want to-
across the Republic, droids aren't allowed to carry weapons.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of them chimes in.
Okay. Like my
welcome back.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I'm like, I believe we should head down there post haste and talk to this Markun. And I look at them when I say the name to verify that I said it correct.
Markun, yeah.
Markun, regarding the weaponry.
Let's do it.
I again look back at them and I like nod and I'm like a thank you.
Yeah, they walk you.
And
They walk you
I
out.
start-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then
I give them one more hug before I leave.
yeah, they hug you back. But sure enough, you make your way back to the lift. You go down 2 levels, and it's easy enough to find Markun if you start asking. And you see just this beefy kind of Mon Cal sitting there behind the forge, and you notice that there's a good portion of the shop that is just a small pool. But as you walk in, you see that he's kind of floating in the pool, and as a little bell goes off to indicate the customer, you see that he doesn't open his eyes, and he just kind of moves his foot flippers, so he turns around towards you, and he's just like, I'll be right with you in a moment. I'm just soaking my muscles. If you know what you like, go ahead and pull it off the wall. Otherwise, we can talk about actually creating something. But the shop itself has this pool to one side, the large anvil in the center with a floating kind of power hammer above it, this hot furnace of a forge on the other side, and one of the walls is just covered with different kind of bladed weapons, axes, knives, swords. There's no hilts, and there's a bunch of kind of circuitry on the wall as well. But there's plenty of weapons for you to kind of choose from, depending on your style. And as you kind of hover there at the wall for a bit, you hear the sound of the water moving, and then the water droplets kind of falling as he gets up. And he looks over at the group, and he's just like, "Oh, well, I'll be damned. I've never seen a group this colorful in an age. What can I do for you all? My name is Markun."
Greetings, Markun. We are more than happy to be dealing with you in this discussion on these weaponries. You were highly recommended by my 2 friends over at the Gunslingers Tavern.
Oh, Krilla and Hattie.
Hattie, correct.
Yeah. Good girls. If you come highly recommended, I gotta take care of you, because they do not recommend anyone. So, what would you like? Point it out, and see what I can do about making it powered or non-powered, depending on on what you like.
Looking for nothing too fancy. Just looking for a vibro blade.
Sure enough,
Um,
I got a regular old-fashioned, and he kind of points to what looks to like a longsword. I got a big two-handed bastard for for bigger folk, in case you like that kind of thing. And I have knives if you're into that, or I do have this very slender kind of rapier. Uh,
Wait, which one would work with my lightsaber roll?
None of them.
God damn it, you didn't lie to me before the stream.
The training saber would work with your lightsaber skill.
Alright, that's what I'm looking for then.
That nobody can make that except Jedi's.
okay, so the way that I'm speaking to this guy, because you're not telling me that in front of him. I look at when all the options that he gives me. Will I say? It seems like the old school version would probably be.
I'm
more
gonna
inclined
grab
with-
Silas.
Okay. So you see Edie put its hand on you.
Mm,
Make conversation.
yes, Edie.
Some of my memory has returned. I actually think I am looking for a training saber.
Huh.
I could use the weapon.
Okay.
By all means, Doctor.
Yeah.
Goddess, Flid, anything tickle your fancy?
He's like,
Unless they have
most of the
something for the
blades that I made are non-powered, but I do have little cavities that I've installed in them, so they could be made into vibro weapons should you need that extra punch. What were you gonna say, good man? Points at Flid.
Anything for the kid? Anything for the kitchen?
Oh no, these are not for cooking. These are for killing. It's a different K altogether.
Yeah,
Flid.
yeah. Very different. Okay.
Flid, my friend. I think you should. You have a lot for the kitchen. I think you may want one for other things, just in case.
No, I'm good. I don't. Nope. I don't. Why for other things?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I look at the Mon Calamari and I go, how much for one of these knives here?
For a regular knife? I thought you were looking for a big sword.
No, well, I don't know. The good doctor here and my friend Goddess, they may be more inclined for those large swords. I'm looking for them. I love vibro weapons. I myself have a vibro rapier. I love the thin foam and so on. But my friends here, the world is the universe is a dangerous place.
Oh, I
And
know.
I would feel way more comfortable if my friends here had at least some kind of protection.
I understand. I understand completely. I had this very discussion with Krilla and Hattie myself, and I insisted that they had some kind of weaponry at hand.
For that, I am grateful.
I have experience in throwing objects and hand-to-hand combat. So something that fits in there would be lovely. If you have any thrown weapons.
I mean, I have. It is amusing that you say that because I made a discus a while ago for somebody who never came back for it, and he kind of reaches.
Oh no!
He reaches into the back, kind of trunk, and he shows you this strange circular object that looks almost like just this ring of metal. And he has with it a left-handed glove. And he's like, I can let this go for 200 credits.
Is that the
You have to be
gunslinger?
left-handed.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, yeah, the man who ordered it was left-handed, and you see that
It's
he,
Silas.
as he puts it on, as he puts on the glove in his left hand, he kind of he grabs the inside of the ring, and he throws it as hard as possible against his wall, and it jams a good like 1/3 of its diameter into the wall.
Marcoon, if we were to say purchase a few items from you, and given the high recommendation from the Gunslinger's Tavern, would you be more inclined to give us come to a lower agreement
Oh,
on the value of the items?
Of course, I'm already giving you a good discount as it was, and you see that he goes over, he grabs the disc from the wall, and it takes a bit for him to pull it out. You notice that he isn't the strongest person in the room, and then you notice that he clicks a button, and the blade starts to kind of glow a bluish color. He's like, just so you're aware that this is worth the price that I'm giving you. He throws it at a different wall, and you see it bounce like it is repelled by some kind of magnetic force, and it starts to bounce from wall to wall until you see him hold out his hand, all his fingers outstretched, and the ring kind of stops midair and flies towards the glove.
Go up to
No, I was gonna ask, is Katie there? Because she's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's moving.
She's just frozen on my.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a like a.
I don't know when we're gonna. Oh, there we go. We got him back.
Oh, there we go.
A signal toward Marcoon, and I'm like, the gunslinger. I point like towards Silas, like he's the gunslinger.
He looks over at Silas, and after a moment, it dawns on him that you're not lying, and he drops the discus. And his jaw drops. And he's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Oh man, I feel like a complete fool. And he starts pulling off the glove.
I look back. I'm like,
And he slides the disc and the glove forward, and he's like, whatever you like, I will give you whatever you like. I did not know I was in the company of the man who freed Hattie and Krilla, and I have to repay that kindness.
I kind of put my head down a little bit, and I'm like, oh, you put that together, did you?
It helped that he told me, and he points a Flit.
Oh, and I look at Flit, and I'm like, I just snicker.
I look down.
and I point to him, and I go, I appreciate it, but I will be at least giving you some. The weapons are going to be on me from my compatriots, but I cannot. I
can't, in good conscience, take that. You're the reason I have Hattie in my life. I can't charge you for these.
Oh,
Flint's on the road. Flint's on the road today.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. So you and Hattie are close.
I think so, sir, and I hope to be closer in the future.
And I walk up to him, and I kind of put my arm on his shoulder, and I'm like, with the kindness that you've shown, which Hattie definitely deserves, I strongly agree with whatever happens with between the two of you.
And you see there's a big smile that crawls over his face, and he kind of just nods.
And I grab the disc and the glove, and I put my arm out to the doctor.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to take it, and I am honored. Thank you very much. I will train very hard to make sure that I am adequately able to use this to its best ability.
I nod at her and I go. I look over at Garda and I go, my friend.
Look around for a gladius, or
Yeah,
yeah, I'd look around for a gladius style. A little
Yeah.
bit shorter, broad.
yeah. There, he has something there that'll fit that description, and he gladly will take the half hour that it takes to kind of put in the circuitry and create the vibro weapon and make it vibro.
Silas,
Awesome.
can you ask him about training sabers?
I look at Edie and I go, Flid. Now for you. I got you. I look at you and I nod and I go, Flid. And I kind of I walk over to you and I just look at you in the face and I go,
Look up.
I know that you are a peaceful person with excellent taste in cuisine. But please take at least a weapon to make me feel better that you at least have some protection. You don't
Silas.
have to use it unless it's absolutely necessary.
Silas, look at these hands, Silas. These hands are for creating, at killing. These hands
can-
were made. to-
You can create a name for yourself with those hands to not be messed with.
Brandon's
Hard to
reactions.
argue with that.
Creation has many Creation has many forms, my friend. Killing is not always taken away. It's creating a name for yourself and creating an extra sense of protection around your name.
I mean, just taught my boys, you know.
You see Marcoon walk over to the wall where he has one knife that actually does have a hilt that it can't be made into a vibro weapon. And he comes over to you and he's like, I made this a while ago for a young boy that came in here, just broken up about a lady that just done him wrong, and I think that given that he was also a man who was pacifistic by nature and pushed to his very edge, I think this would be better off in your hands than his. And hell, I think the engraving matches anyway. And as he hands you the blade, you see that written beautifully in a very round and cursive kind of Arabesh is the word Heartbreaker.
Ooh, ooh, sexy.
I
You motherfucker.
I will take
That's
this.
Brandon.
I'm very grateful that you are giving me this, and grateful to you as well, Silas. Thank you.
I nod, and I after that happens, I grab Marcoon and I kind of take him to the side,
Mhm.
and I go, Marcoon, you've been more than generous up to this point.
He is starstruck.
Again,
it is like if you were Vin Diesel grabbing like somebody who has been watching all of the Fast and Furious movies. Like he is like scrunched in, like he's trying not to make sure that he doesn't like touch you or that he doesn't make your clothes wet. Like he's
I put my arm around him.
yeah,
Like I put my arm on him.
like he's very, but he's still very kind of like closed in and trying not to be. a bother.
I need to ask you for something that may be uncomfortable for you. Do you know how the Jedi training sabers um, appear?
I've I've seen them. I haven't ever worked on one. I don't know the secrets of the sabers. I don't. I apologize. They're highly guarded.
Would you be able to create something similar to that, where, let's say, somebody who was accustomed to those would be able to use it? Obviously, it's not going to be the same, but
If
would be able to use it with some ease.
if I had 100 years, I could not crack whatever secret has been held by these Jedi to create such a wondrous item.
Would I even know
No,
through my time in the library?
no, that's even guarded from students. It's only for people who are chosen to be teachers from the very get go. That any even that there's a select kind of group of them who would be taught how to forge those sabers.
Okay.
But Marcoon looks at you. He's like, there might be some that the magistrates have kept down in the old records room. But they would be old by now. Relics of a bygone age. Jedi's haven't been on Bespin in some time. Not since the accident.
What? Oh, accident.
And he's like, yeah, ain't you heard? A few years back, there was an uprising. We had our we had the head of the city murdered, and violence in the streets, and the Jedi that were here to protect the dignitary were murdered in the streets. It was I mean, they say it was an accident, but if you know the street that this happened on, you know that this is not feasible. But I believe the Jedi and his two students were murdered, made to look like an accident, cover up whatever happened to the head of Bespin at the time. It was a big to do. Some Lasat did it. Never caught him. He got away. Got off world.
Oh boy.
Do you remember the name of this Jedi and his students?
Oh no. It was. I mean, I could try to find the holo recordings of the time. I was just starting off as an apprentice, so I kind of might have saved it as a kind of time capsule. I'm nostalgic like that, but I have to look for it.
If you're able to find it, that would be. It doesn't have to be at the moment. Our ship is docked, and I tell them the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big platform.
Well,
Were you in a freighter of some kind? A big
never were.
big mining ship? Neverwhere. That's not a mining ship I know.
No, it's a transport, but definitely not a mining ship. But I do appreciate everything that you've done. Again, it was unnecessary, but myself and my compatriots do appreciate everything.
Sure. I'll put the word out that there's a transport ship available, and I'll see if I can get you some business.
Can I ask you one final thing, Marcoon? I know
Please,
you
of
are
course.
a master of blades, but I'm in search of some ammunition for some blaster rifles. Do you know where I could obtain those?
Oh, sure. If you keep going down the street, you'll see that there's a blaster repair shop. The man regularly takes in old clips and recharges them for a nominal fee. But if you need new clips, he'll definitely have them for sale. Uh, name's
You
Vingan.
yeah, Bingen. Okay, perfect.
Sure.
Marcoon, and I grab his hand and I shake his hand.
He's
And I'm like,
he's in awe of it.
I'll ask him one other thing. I'm like, how difficult would it? How long would it take you to carve something? And I pull out the blaster,
What do you mean by
carve
carving
something
it?
in here.
Like,
I'd like a phrase put onto the
oh,
gun.
I could do that in a couple minutes. And you see him
So
kind
I
of
give it.
sit down at the anvil, and he pulls on a small kind of what looks to be a mixture of electric toothbrush with a very sharp point. And he kind of like slaps the anvil. He's like, "Go ahead, put it down. What do you want me to put?"
I would like the phrase "peace through justice."
Sure enough. And you see that he starts cycling through different kind of letterings. As you see that he kind of lines up the gun with underneath the big pile hammer that's above it, and you see that there is a small camera that has kind of like to the side of it that just kind of illuminates down the phrase, and he asks you to just kind of choose one of the fonts and how you want it to be worded on the thing, and then he just kind of follows the outline.
Yeah, I want it on the barrel, just to say "peace through justice."
Yeah, sure enough, and he just writes it in. And you see a little laser kind of shoot out from the point and just follow the lettering that's there on the hologram.
And on the other side of
Mhm.
the gun, I want him to put my mother's name.
Okay, he does that.
Okay,
And he hands you the gun back.
cool. I thank him again, and I go back to the rest of the group, and I tell him,
And as you're about to leave, he asks for the gun back. And you see him pull a different kind of pen, a different kind of stylus from above him. And as he sits down, he traces over the piece through justice. And as he does, you see that it takes on a kind of silvery shimmer. And then he
cool.
flips the gun over, and he clicks the pen a couple times, and then he does the same thing to your mother's name, but it's a gold kind of look to it. And then he hands you the gun back. He's like, it might get lost unless you draw attention to it.
I'm like, you are master of your craft, my friend. And I put it in, and I put my arm on his shoulder. I'm like, I will not soon forget you. Take good care of Hattie.
It's like, it is an honor to be in your presence, and I look forward to seeing you more in our lives. I hope.
And I walk out, and I tell you guys, I'm like, if we want to get ammunition for the blaster rifles, right down the walkway, he advised me of somebody that we could buy new clips for it. If you don't believe it's necessary, we can just head back to the ship.
I think we should do it. Why, if we're running low on ammunition, shouldn't we have extra ammunition?
I agree, Doctor.
Let's load them up.
Yes. All right, so we'll go over to the other thing.
You go into the shop, and it's a mess. It is like a geek's heaven of just like broken up blasters and rifles and mounted guns and weapons that look like they should be in a starship, but they're all kind of opened up and in different forms of disrepair or repair. And behind the counter, you see this Toydarian kind of look up, and immediately as you walk in, you see his little wings kind of flare out and start flapping, and he comes floating over, his long, kind of Gonzo-esque nose protruding out of this gray little body of with a very kind of greed-induced face, and he comes over. He's just like, "Hey, what can I do for you? Hey, what are you looking for? What do you need?"
This is Watto, right? Like the race.
The race is Watto.
Okay.
For those of you who need a visual.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this you Vingun, I presume?
Yeah. You heard of me. Good. What do you need?
Oh, I have Marcoon sent me and talked highly of
Hey, what a good guy.
I agree, sir. I'm
what are you looking for?
I've got some blasters that need some ammo. I was wondering if you had some clips available.
Yeah.
Some blaster rifles.
Yeah, full or empty? What do you want? I'll give it to you. Hey.
Well, my friend, empty doesn't do much for what you need those blasters for. we would definitely need some full ones.
You see him put his finger to the side of his big schnoz. Hey, I understand, and I come through. Hey, look, how many are you looking for? I'll give you a discount. The more you buy, the more I discount.
I need we need 3 of them.
Oh, that's not a lot. Okay, but that's good. I still give you discount.
It's more than one.
It is more than one. It is. Hey, and you and I, we know math.
Math is important.
And he puts three clips on the table, and he's like, 50 credits.
50 credits. Now, imagine the publicity. If it is known that the gunslinger is using ammunition purchased at your shop.
Who's that?
Who's that? And I hold out the T-shirt.
I'm wearing one. I just pointed at myself.
He looks at the T-shirt. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but it looks like a good guy.
What if we bought double the amount of clips?
You bought. Is your droid okay?
Yes. What if we bought 6 clips?
I mean, I'd give you the 6 clips for 80 credits. You want me to take a look at that vocal unit of that droid?
I've tried. He won't let me.
Lord, yes. I can do the 80 for the 6.
Silas, should we triple the amount?
Are you paying for this?
I suppose so.
So how much would to quadruple the amount then?
Oh,
that's more than I just said.
I mean, ideally. Okay. I mean, if we take a look at the original price, which was 50 each, and we go with...
It wasn't 50 each, sir. No. You said 3 for 50.
That's because I was discounting it. You remember when we agreed that we would discount the more you buy? So they start at 50. They start at 50. And now going to 12 times 50, that's big numbers.
Okay, let's go back down to...
Why was 680?
That would be 600. So I think I could give you 12 for 450.
Silas, okay. I cannot pay that amount.
No, it's fine. Go
ahead. Can I see the value for these things? These blasters?
Yeah.
He did say 6 for 80, right? Did everybody hear 6 for 80?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good roll.
It is not.
Yeah.
You think that he's giving you a good deal, man? If each one is 50 normally, and 12 would be about 600, 450 is a good deal.
If 3 was 80,
mm-hmm.
If 3 was 50, and then 6 is 80.
Yeah.
That means by math,
Mm-hmm.
Fucking 12. What? Yeah, 12
Uh-huh.
should be 1 something.
60.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, 160.
160.
But he's saying 400.
450, yeah.
450.
Can I use
no, I'm gonna say.
persuasion?
Oh, go ahead.
Can you use what?
Do it.
Persuasion or con? What would be best here?
I mean, you could try either or. What do you? How are
Actually,
you? How are
know
you going
what?
to phrase it?
I have a backup play. Can I use law enforcement as a Jedi?
You could try that route. Sure.
Oh, we're gonna die.
How are you going to phrase it?
We're not going to get any clips.
No clips.
Dang it.
Why don't we just get sick?
That's what I thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Can I just like say that in the middle of all of this
Yeah.
discussion?
Yeah.
You know, it's for is a really good
I-
deal. Let's just do that.
I agree. And I'll pay for it. I will pay for it.
It's like, all right, but I mean, you could have gotten 12.
For
Coulda, woulda,
something, that's much more credits than the original amount.
Are you sure you don't want me to take a look at your droid? I do that for free.
Oh, please.
No, we're good. And I hand him the credits.
All right. He slides the six clips over to you.
I check them to make sure that they're good.
Yeah, they look full.
Okay.
There is nothing
I
wrong with
put them
my
away, and I'm like,
voice.
unless there's any other business, I suggest we maybe head back to the ship. We got a long day tomorrow.
Sounds good.
It's good doing business with you. Don't forget
And
where you got it from.
I nod as I walk away.
Yeah. And as you make your way back to the ship, weapons in tow for most of you, ammo in your packs, you notice that you only have about 4 hours left of the evening, as a standard day on Bespin is 12 hours. It's 12 standard hours. So you will not be getting a lot of sleep in the interim. But as you go back to your ship, you see that the Jedi is sleeping inside of his fighter.
I'm gonna go knock on his cockpit.
That's exactly what he wanted. The droid,
I'm not. I'm going.
yeah, the droid is locked in its place, and the ramp to the ship is up currently. As you rush over and look down into the cockpit of the Aether Sprite, you notice that there is a knife sticking out of the belly of this Jedi.
What?
Inside the ship, there is a trail of blood leading out of the captain and Yandro's room. And this is where we will pick up the next episode.
Son of
Oh, you cannot do this.
When I come back in a couple of weeks
No.
from Colorado.
You bastard.
No.
So, I'd like to thank all of you that joined us for this little longer than average episode. I wanted to go a little bit longer because I will be out of town for 3 weeks, so we will not be meeting for the regular sessions, but I do have something planned. Please take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear your masks, keep your distance, and remember that although times are tough, that you do have friends, you do have family, and if you can't reach out to friends and you can't reach out to family, please seek professional help, because nobody should go through it alone. And if anything, you can always rely on at least one of us to be in chat in case you need someone to talk to. So, until next time, please be safe, and we will see you when we see you.